Hello everyone and welcome to Victoria's Cantina. Today we're having a look at the Kotobukiya ArtFX Star Wars Captain Phasma 1/10 scale pre-painted model kit. This is the very first item I have purchased from Kotobukiya, and it's my very first ArtFX statue, though I have had my eye on them for some time. So I wanted to check one out, and I thought, hey, let's get Captain Phasma, see what she's all about, and see if I like her. So I went ahead and ordered her. And here she is, the box, very classic Star Wars looking, basically just black, some dark gray Star Wars lettering. It says ArtFX on the upper right, lower right says Kotobukiya Craftsmanship, and we get a nice portrait there of Captain Phasma. Side of the box says Snap Fit and shows us a side view of the figure. Opposite side says Warning and shows us another view of Phasma. And at the back, yet another look at the figure. It says a little bit about Kotobukiya. Says a Japanese import, and lots of information there. Some info about the character as well. If you'd like to pause and read, I'll let you go ahead and do so. There's the top of the box right there, and all the manufacturing information at the bottom. Inside the box, we have a plastic clamshell that houses all the parts in order to build Captain Phasma. We also get an instruction sheet, which gives us information on the combination of poses we can accomplish. And here we have all of the parts that Captain Phasma has. Right here we have the black magnetic display base that comes with most, if not all, Kotobukiya ArtFX figures. Just basically a plain black base. Here we get her torso, which is connected to her head. We have her lower half right here. Basically her legs, which is connected to a belt that kind of moves around a little bit. We got 4 arms. There's going to be 2 rights and 2 lefts. Here are the other 2 right there. And there is a designation in each of them. You can see like it says B and then R. So like arm B, right arm. And if I grab the other one, it's going to say AR. So option A and right arm. So probably the most simple thing we can do is connect Phasma here at the waist. And just push her in. Oh, it also looks like you can remove her up here at the upper torso. Go ahead and pop that back in. Let's go with option A first. So you can see there's a little shape right there at the socket, and then there's a hole right here. So we're just going to line it up just like that. And she's already got an arm up here. There's a little bit of a slot on this piece, so we need to find that slot in there. Just like that. Then we have Phasma here. She's still not complete, but you can see her whole body. This is a very shiny looking costume, and the proportions do look very nice. So next we have the cape. You can see it looks very much like a garbage bag almost. It looks good. It's got some good texturing to it and a little bit of heft to it. Not too heavy, but it's not that light either. And then that's the inside, basically a little bit glossy. And I really like that red stripe running along the side. Now to get the cape on, we are going to need to pull off her head. So let's do that. Go ahead and pull. And here's the head. You can see that it is attached to a neck, which is an individual part. You can move them separately from each other. We'll go ahead and slide the cape over the body like this till we get it angled just right. And it looks pretty good to me. And then we'll go ahead and grab that head and we'll go ahead and plug it back in here. Just work it in. There we go. Snaps back in place. And she's going to need a weapon. So we have Captain Phasma's gun right here. And this looks very nice. Very nice detail on this. I gotta say, it's like a champagne sort of color. Very metallic looking, but then it's got black accent paint. And I really like it. It's got a nice sheen to it. The gun is also articulated quite interestingly. This little arm piece right there kind of pulls out like that, maybe to balance when she's taking a shot. I do find it to be a little bit loose. Then we'll go ahead and place the gun inside of Phasma's hand. Just kind of wiggle it in. There we go. And it's worth noting that she doesn't really want to stand. That cape is just a little bit heavy for the figure. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that base back in. And you'll see that there are some magnets here on the bottom of her feet. We'll go ahead and place her. And wow, she's very secure and very sturdy. This looks really good. I mean, this looks very, very cool. I'm not personally a huge fan of the whole model sort of thing, or, having to put the thing together, but I gotta say that as a figure, this looks really, really good. The figure's got a metallic paint scheme, which is quite unique because pretty much all Captain Phasma figures, except maybe the Hot Toys version, don't have metallic paint schemes like in the film. So this is really, really cool. And like I said earlier, she's got very nice proportions, looks very true to the movie, and all around just looks pretty badass. Gotta admit, this is a very cool looking figure. In terms of sculpt, I think that this looks excellent. You can see that they did a very nice job replicating the outfit from the film. She's got all the little details there, like the little rank right there. The details right here, like if you look at the little black bits that are right there inside the mask, are very nicely textured. They did a really nice job with that. The eyes look quite good. And then if you look at the paint, it's not just chrome. I mean, it is probably Vac metal, but they also applied some additional paint. That way it does look dirty and battle worn and stuff. You can see that really nicely right there on her face. Here at the back, very nice looking. And rest of the outfit, you can see more of that sort of gritty look to it in some areas, like there on the abdomen. Very, very nice. So it's really cool that they did that. I mean, they could have just made it all shiny and it would have looked really cool too, but the fact that they actually chose to give it a little bit more of a grittied sort of look just makes it more even more badass figure, because Captain Phasma has been in battles and stuff, you can tell. In terms of articulation, it's very limited, quite obviously. The head, we do have a ball joint, and as you saw, there is a neck joint that's also ball jointed, so you can move her head. It is a little bit restricted because of that cape, but you can get a little bit of movement with it. The arms obviously aren't going to move unless you swap them out, and even then they're still not going to move. You get a ball joint here at the upper torso, and some pretty good movement there. You can sort of swivel the waist, but not really. Even though you do have to connect the top part and the bottom part, there's just still not a whole lot of movement there. And legs aren't going to move for obvious reasons. The gun, you can take that out, put it in her hand, whatever you want to do. So that's pretty cool. I mean, this is nice as a little statue, but it's not really an action figure per se. So now we want to go ahead and remove the arms that we had in there. We'll go ahead and swap them out. Good, and probably the easiest thing is going to be to take off the head once again, and there we go. And we'll go ahead and swap the arms with option B. So right there we have option B. It's a different arm. Go ahead and get that plugged in if we can. Some of these are a little bit tricky to get in until you find that little sweet spot where they just kind of go in. There we go. And then for the other arm, we're going to disconnect it just as we did earlier here at the lower section like that. And we'll go ahead and throw in that arm right there. She actually does have a swivel here at her left wrist. This is the only of the four arms that has a swivel at the wrist, which is interesting. And you can see that she's in a very nice gun-toting position. And interestingly, she stands without the base in this pose. For some reason with the other arms in there, maybe because the center of gravity was different, she wasn't standing off the base. But like this, she stands off it just fine. And I gotta say, this looks really, really good. I think I actually like this pose a little bit better. Her arm is a little bit in a high position there on the right side, but I think that's kind of how she was in the film, wasn't it? Like when she walked out saying, "Sir, the villages." Like, I think that's kind of how she was, like, walking like this with the gun. I mean, it does look a little funky, but yeah, it totally works. I really like this. Aesthetically, this is so, so cool. Now let's do some comparisons. So here we have the ArtFX Captain Phasma along with the Hasbro Black Series Captain Phasma in the 6-inch scale. And you can see that the Kotobukiya one definitely dwarfs the Hasbro one. Not to mention the paint scheme is so much more elegant and so much more film accurate on the Koto figure. There's also the issue of the Black Series one being a little bit too bulky, and you really don't have that with the ArtFX. It's a lot more streamlined and a lot more feminine looking in my opinion. Then we have the Kotobukiya Captain Phasma, along with what a lot of people in the Star Wars collecting community like to refer to as the shampoo bottle Captain Phasma. But she's a very nice looking shampoo bottle. The aesthetics on that figure, in my estimate, are very nice, look pretty film accurate, and she's got a semi-glossy paint scheme, the only one that Hasbro did with a semi-reflective paint scheme. Obviously, she isn't quite as movie accurate as the ArtFX version. I also really like how Hasbro incorporated the way that you can attach their firearms to their side. Unfortunately, the ArtFX version doesn't have the ability to do that, but it ultimately doesn't matter because it would get in the way of her other arm. Now, in terms of height, you're looking at Phasma being just shy of 8 inches tall, and with the base included, she's about 8 1/4. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Kotobukiya ArtFX Star Wars Captain Phasma 1/10 scale figure. Overall, you guys, I gotta say, this is a very nice looking figure. In terms of aesthetics, this really is in a league of its own. Yeah, it's not much of an action figure since you really can't do a whole lot with her other than switching out the arms and the firearm. But as a statue, it's fantastic. Now, as far as whether or not I will buy more ArtFX Star Wars statues now that I have this one and think it's quite great, possibly. I'm open to the idea of doing so. The upcoming Kylo Ren looks absolutely fantastic, so I might have to get that. But I'm not sure how many of these I would buy. They're a little pricey. I think I paid about $50 for this one. They kind of vary in price depending on the character. Older ones, some of them go for an insane amount of money. But all in all, I think this would make a fantastic display piece to have on your shelf or desk. Especially if you got some of the other First Order characters to surround her with. That would be especially cool. Alright, my friends, if you enjoyed this video, then please like, subscribe, let me know what you think down in the comments. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And as always, I want to thank you for tuning in to Victoria's Cantina. Till next time, my friends. Bye-bye.